ブスブスとそこらにある見てくれだけの不完全燃焼とはわけが違う。ほんの瞬間にせよ眩しいほどに真っ赤に燃え上がるんだ。そして後には真っ白な灰だけが残る。燃えかすなんか残りゃしない。真っ白な灰だけだ。
Without any context, that intro might have been a little confusing. And I'm just going to explain why I used that intro. So that intro was a quote from like a scene in the famous anime Ashita no Joe. So this anime is a boxing anime, and this line was from the main character Joe. And the point of this line is that he's trying to explain why he started boxing. What's the purpose? And I think that line describes what I feel in the beginning of this journey. I'll expand on that. But by the beginning of this journey, he meant that boxing is what makes his flame burn brighter. And I think that's how I feel as well. Boxing has been a passion of mine for a while, and I think now I'm trying to take it a little more seriously. And I've always loved boxing because of how cool it looked in shows, animes, in the movies like Rocky. But now I'm more fascinated by the real life idea of boxing and make it realistic. So right now, by beginning I meant the beginning of this journey of me beginning to box. And right now I'm sitting on my desk and explaining myself. So how am I gonna start boxing? Well, so I've been able to use some resources. So resources like a gym, unfortunately not a boxing gym because of my age and where I live, it's kind of difficult to get to somewhere like a boxing gym. So I've been in contact with some gyms and I think they're willing to take me, but it's still a little tricky. So I'm not in a gym yet, but I'm trying. And so I think that right now the best course of action I can take is boxing from the comfort of my own home. And thing is, boxing is very physically demanding. I don't want to take it easy just because I'm in my home, so I'm developing routines that help me do boxing to the full extent in my own home. So what's the point of me doing boxing? Well, I'm asking these myself, but it's a rhetorical question. But I think in my heart, what I feel is that this is something that genuinely interested me. So for a while, I wouldn't say I was depressed. It's more like I didn't have a sense of purpose. And I think boxing was one of the only things that made me feel like I had a purpose. So I think taking that seriously because I'm at that age where I need to start thinking about my future, and boxing just seemed so appealing to me. It's not like I want to become a professional boxer, but thing is, it helped me see what I need to change in my life. Well, right now I'm not in a good physical state. I am overweight, and I think that's contributing to making me unhappy. And I've done tons of research, and all of these online articles, they keep saying that physical activity, or more specifically boxing, like a combat sport, anything that's physically demanding, helps improve mental health. Well, they were always vague about how they improve mental health, but I feel like boxing might help because of the discipline that I've seen boxers have. Well, these boxers, they go in and out of the gym every single day in the hopes of becoming someone in the future, and I think that's what I want to do. It inspires me a lot. And yeah, I want to start boxing, and I'm trying to take that initiative through the personal project. So yes, this is my first video entry into my boxing journey, and hopefully I'll have many more videos to come, kind of showcasing how I'm taking boxing and trying to, improve myself both physically and mentally. Hopefully both. Since this is just the first entry, I don't really have the routines planned yet, but I still want to showcase what boxing entails. So there's mainly three types of punches in boxing. The most important ones, I would say. And the other ones are just variations of that. Well, actually, I think four, but the fourth one is kind of complicated and it's hard to do properly. But I'm just gonna showcase what it has. So, thing is so right now I'm standing with my right foot forward and my left foot back, and that's because I consider myself a southpaw. So a southpaw basically means that I use my right hand as my first hand and the first defense, and my left hand is for the power punches. Even though I'm right-handed, this just fits me better since I've been, just doing boxing for fun for a while, even though it may not show. But yeah. So the first punch, the most important one, but yet simple one, is the jab. So this is a jab. Basically, a simple punch. It can be straight, you can narrow down, and then jab, a straight jab. But yeah, this is the most important one, and there's many different variations. And the second one, I would say, is a cross. So it's similar to a jab, but you use your strong hand, the one you use the power punches for. So yeah, like this, and that's just a straight cross. And then there's different variations such as a hook, which is a cross but coming from a different angle, a counter punch, which is meant to go over someone's hand. So it's kind of like if I imagine someone right in front of me punching me, I weave back and then punch. So I know it looks very static right now. It's not very fluid, and yeah, I've noticed that as well. Mainly because I haven't been keeping active for a while, and everything's just rigid right now. And I would say the last one, and okay, so I'm including hooks as an important one because it's different from a cross, but it's still significantly different. So it's not the same as a cross, even though you use the same concept, but it's significantly different when using boxing. And the last one, the fourth one, which I mentioned, was a little difficult to do properly, but this is what it looks like. So it's an uppercut. So an uppercut, what we imagine is just this. So that's actually very wrong from what I've seen. And what professional boxers do is that they weave in and out, pair it with a jab, maybe a cross, and then a final jab to open up the defense, and then do an uppercut. So the form's really bad, but that's essentially what the uppercut is. And the last important part of boxing is footwork. So footwork basically is just spacing your feet apart. Your strong, So for a southpaw, it's the right foot forward, left foot back. For an orthodox boxer, which is the left hand dominant, for the left hand jabs, left leg forward and right foot back. So yeah, that's about the basics of boxing that I already know. And the most basic exercise in boxing that anyone can do really is shadow boxing. So shadow boxing is just the principle that you imagine a fight and you imagine a person right in front of you and you dictate the fight yourself. So here, the thing is, I'm not very good at shadow boxing. Shadow boxing is something that seems simple, but it takes a lot of time because you have to kind of imagine your opponent, and it's really hard to do if you've never been in an actual fight. So thing is, I've done friendly sparring with my friends, but that's not an actual fight, is it? So it's kind of hard to imagine, but my friend often does. What he does is that when I get close, his body goes here. So yeah, while I'm describing it, it seems unsafe, but there's no power involved. It's just kind of placing the punches. So yeah, this is light sparring. So what I can do is, if I imagine him hitting me here while I get close, I can crouch down for a defense and kind of dictate where I should hit, even though it's not definite. It's just practice. So I think that covers the basics of boxing, and once I get a routine in order, I'll kind of do that routine in front of the camera, explain how it feels, and yeah, so physical, mental, whatever changes I feel, I'll document them all. But right now I feel excited to start the journey, and it feels kind of weird to talk to the camera about it because I've just been imagining scenarios in my head about this, never really getting to do it. But this is an important project, and I think it's finally time to take initiative. So yeah, here I am, and in the next videos I hope I'll be able to document progress, and even if the progress seems minimal, I hope that there's some changes, some changes I can convey to you, the audience. So yeah, thank you for watching and wait for the next video.